Well, there's some local interest in this particular movie.
Captivated, The Trials of Pamela Smart, Small Town Murder in New England.
What's the local connection, Carrie?
Sorry, I'm thinking of the
You're thinking of the other
Elizabeth
Smart.
of a different movie.
You're thinking of
I
a
don't think
different
they're
Smart.
related.
I thought this was the Missionaries or something.
No,
but- all right.
this is there. I saw the movie, the Nicole Kidman movie, a long time ago,
To Die For.
To Die For,
Yeah.
which was a pretty good movie. But this is,
Excellent film.
yeah, I mean, it was, but this is the real story of that movie. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, the movie actually examines what is the real story. So what does it mean to be a real story, and what does it mean to be true, and what does it mean to be factual, and what does it mean to be accurate? Those are all questions that we're asking.
The gentleman you're hearing speak right now is the director of this examination of that story. He is Jeremiah Zagar. He's here with us, and then Lori Cheadle is also with us. She's the producer of Captivated, The Trials of Pamela Smart. Pamela Smart, a small town weather girl.
No, well, that's from
That's from-
To Die For.
Okay.
So here's what happens.
There we go.
Is that the stories become fictionalized. The people's lives become malleable. And when people's lives become malleable and fictionalized, the truth gets lost. And when the truth determines someone's life and death situation, that becomes a really powerful, disturbing thing.
What made you what made you want to do this?
Well, Lori saw one of my first movie in a dream and brought me on, but she could tell you the origins.
So
of
you
the
knew
project.
something of this story.
Actually, I hadn't known about it when it happened. It was only getting to know one of the people involved with Pam Smart, one of her advocates, and like looking into her and finding out so much had been done about her in theater, books, movies. Besides To Die For, there's Murder in New Hampshire with Helen Hunt, and kind of curious what would make her such an interesting person, and what was really the fact and the fiction. And then we got to meet Pamela Smart and got to actually see the difference between the two.
The story was that she got involved.
Why don't you let them? Because you don't know what's true and what's not.
Well, I mean, the story
Well,
as
the story is
as I remember, and then that she got involved with some younger person. She was married. She got involved with some younger person.
That is true.
And that much is true. And then as the story went, and that's all I know is from the movie To Die For, she decided that she would bump off her husband.
Right. That's from To Die For.
Yeah. And is that...
That's what she was accused of.
That's what she was
accused of
and
conspiracy
she went on
to
trial.
commit murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she went on trial for the conspiracy to murder her husband.
Yeah, and she was found guilty and received life without the possibility of parole, which is a sentence that Charles Manson doesn't even have. I mean, it's an enormously large sentence.
And now, did her husband actually, was he killed?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He was killed. I don't recall
Very much
that.
so. So
Yeah.
two boys went into that house and blew his brains out.
Yeah.
While Pamela Smart was at a school board meeting. And so the question became, did this woman plan this thing, or
Did they
was
act
it planned
alone?
by these boys?
Yeah.
And do you come to conclusions in the film?
The film is less about answers than it is about questions. And we're not necessarily examining guilt or innocence. What we're examining is justice. And it's something that I feel like as a society we all need to look at. This was the advent of televised trials. This is the beginning. Right before O.J. Simpson, before Casey Anthony, before Trayvon Martin. And it changed our justice system. And it's something that we haven't really looked at yet. And it's a disturbing look at that. I mean, when you put a lens on somebody, I mean, as radio people, you know that the difference between what you do and what I do with a camera, that there is a separate wall. That there is that the camera complicates things. Even
You make other judgments
You
that
make
you
other
wouldn't
judgment,
that
yeah.
you wouldn't otherwise make. Oh, what's she wearing? What's why is she looking at the floor?
Oh,
Why
she's,
isn't she
she's
looking?
flirting. Oh, that trial that was just down in Arizona with what's her name?
Oh, Jodi Arias.
Jodi Arias.
Right.
That was a sensational trial. That she was on the headline network every day, and she was the temptress. And man.
But you
Yeah.
met with Pamela Smart. What are your
she's still
impressions
in,
of
she's still
her?
in jail.
of her,
Yeah.
of
Good.
Pam, after meeting her,
Yeah.
she's incredibly intelligent. I mean, we made the movie because we met with her, and she was
You
so
met with her
compelling.
first, and
Yeah, well, what's interesting is all these films that have been made about her previously, no one meets with her. No one's
Because she
ever-
wouldn't, or they haven't even
you
tried?
You can't. She can't prevent you from meeting with her. You go to the prison, you sign in your name, and she has to meet with you.
oh really?
Yeah. So nobody ever did the research to see who this actual person was. The fictionalized idea of that person was much more tantalizing. In reality, she's incredibly smart. She's funny. She's really fascinating. She has 2 master's degrees, one in criminal law, one in English lit. She's helped countless women get out of prison, which is fascinating. It's intriguing. So the question became whether or not she did it. Does she deserve to be in there? Does she deserve to be in there for the rest of her entire life after these young men are going to get out? They're going to get out probably next year.
Two of them are already out.
2 of them are already out, yeah.
How many years has she been in prison?
24.
Wait, if she wasn't a weather, well,
She was the head of
whether-
media services. So she would be that girl that would drop off videotapes at the classroom, and then she had a little shed out back that was her little office. She worked for a bunch of different schools. She wasn't even a teacher, which is, it becomes complicated when the headlines read "killer teacher" and that becomes the societal fear that this woman is then corrupting all
Predator.
these young students. Yeah. And just that word began to destroy her case.
I like the title. That really tells a lot to Captivated. People were captivated by this image and this story, and
Yeah,
And
we
s-
are
and still
captivated.
are.
still are.
There were the 2 investigation discoveries just last year about her case or about her.
So people have made attempts to reopen this.
So Pam Smart has exhausted all her appeals. The biggest problem is that when you are convicted and you would like to make an appeal,
You have to bring something new.
you have to bring something new, but you have to also have to argue it in front of the same judge that put you away, which is insane.
He's already made his decision.
He's
about
already
it.
made his decision. And then after that, public opinion then plays into it. So it becomes politicized. And at this point, the only person that can free Pamela Smart is the governor of New Hampshire. Not even the president of the United States can free
Really?
Pamela Smart.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so. Is there now that the film has been made? You've had some screenings, and is there any? I know you've made some. You have made some judgments in your own mind about this. I would assume, whether the film does or not.
Yeah,
probably
I mean the judgments we're making, we would like to make in the form of questions.
Yeah.
Did this woman get a fair trial? If not, why not? Is this woman's sentence fair? If not, why not? And how then are we complicit in that sentence and the rest of her?
So do you think cameras should be taken out of the courtroom?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion. That one I can clearly attest to.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I just as a filmmaker, I understand the power of the camera, and the power of the camera is incredibly disturbing. And the power of the camera, coupled with the power of editing, is incredibly disturbing. And I don't think it's a valid way of discovering justice. I think it distorts and dilutes our view of what is true and not true, or just and unjust.
And in the case, the jury was not sequestered. So
they were
Oh,
able
that
to
I
go
watching
home.
the news.
That I
and-
didn't know.
Yeah, they were
No.
permitted to go home and watch whatever they wanted. They could have watched any of the things that were on television. And if you think about that, the public pressure,
Yes.
it's unknowable.
Yeah.
It's the idea that a juror would go home in fear that they would be looked down upon in their own community, a small community that had become suddenly, the center of the American popular justice.
What was
zeitgeist.
the thought process for not sequestering them?
It's expensive. To sequester a jury is really, really expensive, so it's a cost issue.
You gotta feed them. You gotta put them in a
And
hotel.
that's it, huh?
Yeah.
That's essentially it, yeah.
It's crazy.
Did you have a chance to interview any of the kids?
We did interview one of the young men. I wouldn't call them kids. Again, they were young men.
They were kids then, but yeah.
Well, young men. They were
Yeah.
16, 17, 18, 19. I mean, they weren't, I think, and that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is we call them kids, and they weren't kids.
Yeah.
And we want to believe that young people aren't capable of doing things like that, but we know that's not true. Young people are capable of, on their own, making very, very disturbing, rash decisions that are incredibly, incredibly brutal.
Now, you've had a few screenings so far already. How's response been?
Response has been really good.
Good.
It's still you can still see it here in Park City today, 3 p.m. at at the Sundance Resort.
That's in Provo, yeah.
Yeah, are you going to?
I'm going up there, yeah.
Yeah. Have you been up there before?
I was in the labs, which are the screenwriting
yeah.
labs for Sundance, so I was
Yes.
just there
Yeah.
for a week.
Then you can go to Prospector Square on the 22nd, the Egyptian Theater here in Park City on the 24th. I would imagine, I see your other documentary has been on HBO, and
Yeah.
I think probably this, well, we won't jinx it, but...
No, it's on HBO.
Oh,
It's already HBO.
This already is HBO.
This is already HBO.
Okay.
HBO and Sky, and we hope to get it out as widely as possible.
Good. Nice to meet you. It sounds great. I can't wait to see it.
Can't wait for you to see it.
Captivated: The Trials of Pamela Smart.
I hope you're captivated. Right.
Director Jeremiah Zagar and Laurie Cheadle, the producer. Thanks for being with us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.